2, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Well, I just recorded for about 14 minutes an attempt at this video. So let me explain it. You might notice that my setup is a little different this time. I'm holding my microphone. I'm in my living room. I'm with Maggie here. She's great, Miss Maggie. Say hi, Miss Maggie. She says hi. This is all experimental, as everything with this channel is. So, a little bit about this series, this episode of this series. My goal with this is to make a series. Hey, Miss Maggie. Where I go through and I make, I use every single, stock plugin to make ASMR. Starting with this one, I'm going to use the audio effect rack, which is, I think, one of the most powerful effects, one of the most powerful plugins that Ableton has, because it allows you to do a lot of parallel processing, which is extremely powerful and very helpful when you're trying to create interesting sound design. I'm recording my screen right now. It's a gray rectangle at the moment, so there's nothing too interesting going on. But as soon as I go into utilities on my presets, and I drag audio effect drag down, you see a little thingy show up. That right there, that little rectangle, is the audio effect rack. It's very powerful for many, many reasons, but the main one is this right here. If I remove that menu, this is where all of the chains show up. Chains are signal chain, a signal that is being processed. I can add as many as I want, and you'll notice that when I add one, it gets a little bit louder, question mark? Which one is this on? That would probably help if I put it on the correct one. Okay. Do it here, delete that, and create chain. Okay, there's one chain. Now, as soon as I create another chain, it will get considerably louder. The gain will increase, and that is because there are now two signals running through this thing, so you're sort of getting double the output. And thus, you get a lot more, you're getting more mouth noises when I move my mouth. The gain was already pretty high, but now you're getting even more of it. This is really neat, because now what I can do, I can pan each chain differently. So for example, if I bring this one all the way to the left, you notice now that there's a little bit more on the left side. If I bring this one all the way to the right, now it seems more balanced. But wait, there's more. Now I can solo one side or the other, and I can go back and forth like that very, very quickly, very instantaneously. It's sort of a cut straight from one ear to the other, and it's very useful. Usually, soloing is a thing for monitoring. If you want to hear one instrument or one track alone and see what sort of sound qualities it has, then that's what soloing is usually for. But in this case, we're using it just to isolate and hear it. It helps me when because I've got some hearing damage in this side of my head, this ear, and it helps me when I want to see if the mix, like if I'm mixing a sound, if I'm mixing music, it helps to be able to solo each side, so that I can tell what this ear is missing and sort of infer what my mix might need. It's very, very useful. In this case, it's just nice for ASMR purposes. Good, like, ear-to-ear stuff. So, that is the power in that. It's very, very useful, very helpful. Alongside that, it gets unbelievably cool when you look at this thing in depth. Now we have all of our macros. We only are going to work on one for the moment. We might add some if I can think of another reason to, but for now we'll just do the one. Macros allow you to map any knob or any value to a like sort of hierarchically higher up knob. So I can take a bunch of them, a bunch of lower, like if I add an echo and I add a distortion, I can map multiple parameters within each of those to a single knob. It's very, very useful, very powerful. Thank you, Airplane, for being here. Let's have some binaural airplane. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about binaural airplane? Is that good? Is that good for us? Okay. Now, this is where it gets very, very neat. So I'm gonna pause the screen recording really quickly. Okay, we're gonna record that whole section of the screen. It'll be fine. So now we're recording all of this. What happens when I click this map button? Oh my goodness, look at this. Everything is turned green down here, and now I can look at this. Thanks, Airplane, I love you. I can click on this volume, this change volume, and click this map, and then you see it goes and maps this volume parameter to this knob. And I can do it again and map both of them. But map both of them to the same knob. And then, if we look up here, you will see that there are mins and maxes. What I want to do now is take one of them. I'm thinking this top one. Increase the min and decrease the max. So now, if we look at this knob down here, excuse me, you can see it's turned to the right. When you turn it to the right, it boosts the volume of the chain on the right. And when I turn it to the left, you can see that it boosts the chain on the left. So I can change the panning of this whole track just from that. And that's super powerful, because that means that within a single track, I can change the processing for each side. It's like tracks within tracks, sort of, except they all use the same source audio. It helps with like keeping a tidy project. It's very, very neat. So I can tweak this back and forth. It's very, very helpful, very, very lovely and neat. Now you might have noticed by now that when I put it here, right in the middle, or close to the middle, right there, you lose a lot of volume. That's because neither side is loud enough, or that the two of them are not loud enough together to match. What if we do this? What if we just oh, that's not what I meant to do. 0 and 0. Just out of curiosity, what happens if we do this? If I turn this all the way up, yep, it still does that same thing. So you're never quite gonna get, or you can, but it's tricky. It's very tricky. You have to like sort of nitpick at the values to make it as loud as you want in the middle, but for now, we have very very good binaural panning. Here, let's have some more binaural airplay. Okay. So there's a little bit about that. We are going to, for now, I'll leave that. I'll turn the effects off. Oh, not that one actually. We're gonna turn, then we'll keep the knob up. We'll turn this on. No, we'll not actually turn that on. Turn this. Will look like this and see. I'm actually gonna we're gonna stop recording and then we're gonna restart recording again, but a different shape. So we're gonna start recording again. Now we have this thing over here. This shows and we're back. Okay, so I figured out how this works. Maybe bring this right to the middle. 64, I suppose. That's not what I wanted. No, it's not what I wanted. No, it's not what I wanted. Why can't I select just one of these? Can I please just, there we go. That's what we wanted to do. Okay, so the way this works, if I add a macro, it's interesting. This is really interesting, and I haven't used it a whole lot, but now that I put a little more research in, I'm excited to try it out because it could be unbelievably useful. So what we do now is we use that map effect again, and we click on this little feller, and we map that to that little feller. We can go out of the map thing, and then what you will see is as I drag this knob, that little fella right there starts to shift, and then it switches to the other side. So now let me bring it back to the middle, right there-ish. It's not as loud, but that's okay. So what you'll see is, what you'll hear rather, is that I'm in your right ear. And as I move this around on that right side, nothing changed. Oh, you heard it. I'm assuming, you see it zips around on that right side, and nothing happens, but as soon as I bring it back onto that left side, then it's only in my left ear. So it's a thing that I can use to switch chains. I can select the chain I want to use. Now I would like to try this right here. Okay, so now there is a fade in and out. If I move this up, it'll boost towards the middle and switch, and as I bring it out further, it'll sort of diminish that chain until there's nothing. So that is very, very neat. It's very, very neat, and it allows you to sort of smoothly shift between different chains. Very cool. So we've got our chain volume, or rather, it's sort of a pan. Oh yeah. What if we do this? What if we bring this to the middle, and then we just do like that, and then we bring it over here. There we go. Sorry, that was sudden. That was very sudden, and I apologize. But we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out as we go. So now you can see that I brought, each one, they overlap a little bit. In fact, what if I did this? What if I brought them even farther over apart each other? And then I go up above, and I drag the fade like that. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I drag the fade in and out for each one, and now, rather than it just jumping, let's do that to the middle. Okay, so now rather than just jumping from one ear to the other, it'll slowly shift from one ear to the other. That's honestly an easier, well, it's not necessarily easier, but here, let's do this. What if we do this? We delete this one. We delete the mapping to this. Just like we go here, we delete that. We click here, we delete that. We turn mapping off. Reset it to 0. So now it's on my right side, and it's at 0 dB. So now when I bring this over here, you see it slowly shifts everything at the same loudness over. So what if I bring this all the way out, and bring this all the way out, and this all the way over, and this all the way over, and we just keep tweaking everything like this, and then slowly we can do chain selector, and we've now created a pan. We're learning things. I'm learning things. It's unbelievably powerful. We love this. We love to see this. This is neat. This is neat. I'm super into this. Yeah, this is neat. So yeah, we've now, even within the same video, we've noodled around and discovered a new way to do something that I, like, they're different effects, you know? The one that we had before, it had that, like, sort of low thing in the middle, and I think with effects, they would be able to... No, I honestly think this is just better, because it keeps the consistent volume across the stereo field. So yeah, that's neat. That's real neat. Can I switch these? Is that a thing I can do? I don't think so. You never know till you check. So, there you go. That is... Is there anything else with this? Not really. You can randomize it, which is nice. Like if I click this little random button, it'll swing it to random points in the stereo field, so that like you can like play with different sounds. This is really, really powerful if you have more than one macro, and it's attached to a bunch of different parameters. And what will happen is it will randomize all of the parameters that you selected to randomize, or rather, it will randomize all of the parameters that you don't deselect. So that way you can sort of like generatively find new sounds, and just see like what works, what you like, what you don't like, what maybe like danger zones within the effect rack, because sometimes certain effects can play into each other and be like too much. So yeah, it's very, very cool, very, very cool. We're gonna go right back to the middle for now though, so we're giving over a good 5-10 minutes. So that was me noodling and trying to figure out what the hell the chain selector did though, so yeah. The thing is, the audio effect rack is powerful not in what it does by itself, but rather in the ways that you can use other things within it. Excuse me. In every one of these videos moving forward, and everything in the rest of this series, I'm going to put the effects. I'm going to put beat repeat and delay and phase and compression in an audio effect rack, so that way we can sort of like we can take each individual effect and push it a little bit further, just with the tools that we have here, because it's very, very powerful to be able to have parallel processing, have multiple chains with the same effect on it, so you can like hear what it does, like in stereo, or maybe like in each ear at the same time, because sometimes a before and after, like turning the dry wet knob on and off, can be limited in how you are able to tell what it's doing. But if you have it going at the same time in one ear, that it's not going in the other ear, then maybe it's a little easier to see the difference. So yeah. Don't think there's anything else with this. One other thing, I suppose, that not really useful right here, but it's worth showing. This little camera logo, when I click it, you see it shows this thing here. What I can do is I can add a variation, and what that will do is it saves a preset. So when I tweak this, what I can do now is hit this little play button, and it will reset that setting, like preset. So that way, if I like something, I can just hit new, and it will save that preset, and I can return to that. It's very handy, and the more I play with this, the more cool sounds I discover, the more, the more of those that I might have. I guess one final thing, over here on the right side, you can see that there's a little like floppy disk icon. What that does is allows you to save this plugin as a preset. You can save the whole thing, and then it'll be up in your browser, and you can return to it. You can go get it, find it, name it, and bring it back down. In Ableton 12, which is out now, I'm saving up for it. I have a Patreon. Go subscribe to my Patreon so I can afford Ableton 12. In Ableton 12, you can add categories and tags to each thing. So that way, if you have like for example, I have a bunch of plugins that are specifically for ASMR. So it would be really nice for me to be able to tag all of my ASMR plugins as ASMR plugins, and that way I can just in the top, like in the search bar, type in ASMR, and it'll show me everything I've got, and I can find it a lot easier that way. And it shows me like similarity of things. At least it shows me similarity of the sounds that you can get. So that is the audio effect rack. I'm gonna make all of these regardless of whether or not you want me to. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this. I certainly did. I'm really excited to play more with the chain selector. I think that's going to be fascinating to play with, to be able to fade between different chains, very different processing chains, like within the same, like it's just unbelievably cool and powerful. You could like have a dry wet knob for each ear. Unbelievable. So powerful. Okay. I think that's all I got for you. thanks for being here, as always. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded. Life has been a lot lately. Had a birthday party. I'm 30 now. It's kind of wild. Been going on dates and stuff. That's cool. I'm gonna release a single. It's called Promises, and it will be out on Spotify. At least Spotify. Hopefully and ideally more than just Spotify, but definitely Spotify. It's called Promises, and the artist name will be The Castle Talent. If it's not up on the day that this uploads, keep checking, because eventually it'll pop up and it'll be there, and I would love for you to hear it. I'm going to keep plugging that in subsequent videos. So yeah, that's the audio effect track. My name's Levy. Thanks for being here. I love you. Go tell someone else that you love them, and I'll see you in the next one. Chaos. Everything is chaos.